All right, the Mosley show continues. We started a little early today. I'm on the road going to the mountains, headed toward Beaver Creek, and I'm in Denver. And so I was doing some of the show today from Denver. And so we're going to move on down the road. And then as we were talking a little earlier, news comes down, and I want to react to it because I'm traveling. Scotty and I got the news. And I can kind of bring you up to date on a couple because I've made some calls since the news has dropped. So Trevon Diggs, as a lot of you have heard by now, has been released by the Cowboys. Timing is a little bit curious. Not huge savings. There's our alert. There's Trevon. I mean, if someone wants to claim him off waivers, they're going to owe him for week 18, like $470,000, and if he was active, it's another $58,000. This, according to Todd Archer of ESPN. From a guaranteed money standpoint, if you're kind of wondering, oh wait, what does this do to the cap? I mean, the huge money that they gave him, his deal, because he was unbelievable. You'll recall 2021 and 22 Pro Bowl seasons. Huge. And then, of course, he gets hurt 2023. He's missed, a lot of games in the past couple of seasons. I think he's maybe played in 20 games, missed 6 games. Last season, had to have some surgery. He's missed a bunch of games this year. I believe 8 games because of the weird injury he had. He was not ready to go at the start of the season. And then he was mounting his TV, according to him, and had some kind of concussion from that. His knee has flared up. And so, same, and again, it's it's unfortunate because, again, they did a deal with him that was a huge deal. Like a $95 million deal. That tells you how much money the guy was making. Just as what I just said, what he was going to make week 18, an enormous amount. All right. And, I think the way this will work, it's hard to imagine. He's a really good player, but this just tells you Cowboys didn't think that they were going to be able to really get anything for him. Also tells you that they're probably just absolutely fed up with him. The relationship had been going sideways for a while. He was sort of in the same boat as Micah Parsons. They hated the way Micah was handling himself during the holdout or the hold-in. They hated that during a game when he was down the sideline, he basically, laid down on the trainer's table. It was a bad look, and so they got great value for him. It was not great timing when they did it and all that kind of stuff. They got value for him. They get nothing for Diggs. Other than they paid him a ton of money to not give them very much. Now, before they paid him, he had a run of being one of the top cornerbacks in the game, and that's why they gave him that money. And then after that, it's been such a mixed bag. It's really been nothing. And so Trevon Diggs, again, very talented. As far as tracking the ball, but even this season, he talked to Matt Eberflus about, Matt Eberflus was running a lot of zone coverage. He talked to him about wanting to play more man coverage, and then he couldn't get active for a game, and they finally got him active for a game. Then he got hurt again. He'd been out for a long time, and now he has been released. Now, just to remind you, this thing went south when he wouldn't do the rehab with the Cowboys. They obviously, like most people, Brett Brown, their head of rehab, they want their players to work with the Cowboys players, with the Cowboys rehab people. He did it in South Florida. Because he did that, they basically took it was like a $500,000 fine. That was part of his deal, part of his base salary that they took. And they lowered by $500,000, by $500,000, because he didn't do his rehab at the Cowboys facility with the Cowboys people. Obviously, he was not pleased about that. They tried to do, it just, and I don't think really he ever was meeting the standard. Both Micah and Trevon, with some of the way they handled things, I think were undermining Brian Schottenheimer. I think even before the season, there were signs that they were going to need to move on from him. Then it didn't get off to a good start. Then he had the dumb thing happen at home, whatever that was. I mean, there are rumors it was something. But again, he has come out finally and said a few weeks ago that it was a some kind of TV. He was trying to hang a TV, and the thing came down. He hurt himself, had a fall, hurt his head. The pole came down on his head, or whatever happened. Just all of it embarrassing, bad ending. Cowboys, and so we had already kind of started the show early today, but with this news happening, I really appreciate Scotty allowed me to jump back on to react to this, because as I was reacting earlier, this news was coming down when I was doing the show earlier today. And so I wanted to get off the road, react to this thing as the Cowboys part ways. They have released Trevon Diggs. My thought is Trevon Diggs is still in the prime of his career. He should be. Now he's banged up and he's been hurt a couple of times, and you got to wonder about this knee. He is 27 years old. Somebody will take a chance on Trevon Diggs. I mean, a former Alabama player, someone that Nick Saban coach, extremely, for when the Cowboys took him, which was in the second round of the draft, in 2021, I guess it was. I mean, he was incredible. In his rookie season, his second year, his ball skills, the way he can high point, the way he tracks the football, he could do incredible things. But again, attitude, issues, the injuries, again, I liked him personally. I got to interview him a few times. I found him to be very personable. I found him to be pretty thoughtful guy, really. But again, he got crossways with the Cowboys. I think Schottenheimer tried to make it work. I think Eberflus did. They met with him, and in the end, it was time to move on. So the Cowboys are going to move on from their defense coordinator, pretty much all of their defensive coaching staff, and this player will be gone. And I think probably you needed to get him out of here, because even with a young player who they still value and they gave a lot of money to in Deron Bland, they like the leadership of Quentin Williams. They like, Kenny Clark coming in from Green Bay. They like Osa Odighizuwa. They like the way these guys lead. But I think for the young players, the impressionable young cornerbacks, defensive backs, safeties, I think they wanted to get Trevon Diggs away from this team. Doesn't mean he's a bad guy. He's a mercurial guy. As the old coach Bill Parcells would say, he's just different. He really is. He's an odd guy. He's extremely talented. But for what they had paid him, and the huge amount of money he made for the Cowboys, he was not living up to that contract at all. Now, you might wonder, well, what's this going to do to the cap? What's this do? Why do they do it now? Why do they go ahead and release him? There's no, I think he's gotten his guaranteed money. So, we'll have more news on this in terms of like where the salary cap hit and all of that. But, you wouldn't do this if you could wait and do this post June 1 and it somehow helped you with his salary and all that, you would do that. Obviously, that's not something they decided. They just said, get him out of here. Let's go ahead and make this decision. Let's get him out of our facility. And so Trevon Diggs' career ends with the Cowboys. So two of their most talented players in Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs, gone. They are gone now. And so the Cowboys will start over defensive coaches. Schottenheimer will just get a whole start. Now, the good news is Brian Schottenheimer and Eberflus was an arranged marriage. maybe now Schottenheimer can have some say in who they bring in as the defensive coordinator. And he can have some say in it too in, okay, let's try some different things. Okay, whatever we were doing this year, this mixture of zone and man coverage and this inability. They were horrible at zone. They were not particularly good at man-to-man. And in the secondary constantly got exposed. They were out-leveraged. They got beat deep. When Trevon came back recently, he got beat deep. Siegmund, the rookie, let's give him some grace. This has been a struggle for the Cowboys. But anyway, just wanted to come back on, and we've done the show again earlier today and provided you with about an hour as I make my travels, but wanted to come back on and react to this story. Trevon Diggs, no longer a part of the Dallas Cowboys. Boy, thank you guys, and thank you, Scotty. We got this out there on Twitter. I want to remind you, for all of you that jumped on and were following us on Twitter as we push this out there to react to this big breaking news for the Cowboys, go sign up for our YouTube page. Also, we will be back. The Doomsday Podcast will be back to react to the Cowboys and Giants, and Ed Werder and I on Doomsday will react to all of this. So subscribe to also the Doomsday YouTube page as well, and you can get all your Mosley news, all your Doomsday news, all of it. So anyway, thanks to Scotty Swingler, Rogue Media Network. Okay, we're going to try to move on, and I'm going to go about my little getaway. All right, but we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do we'll do the whole show tomorrow, beginning at 1:00. It is. What is it, like Mountain Time? I believe it's 12:51. Back home, this is the end of the usual. I don't know. I can't keep up. But anyway, thank you, Scotty. Appreciate it. We will see you guys tomorrow on the Matt Mosley Show on Rogue Media Network.